She stood outside the towering glass building, her tiny hands clutching the straps of a faded school bag. Rain trickled from her bangs, soaked her worn dress, and dripped quietly onto the floor. People passed by, umbrellas high, suits pressed, heels clicking, barely noticing the little girl standing in line for a corporate job interview. Inside, the receptionist glanced up from her desk, confused but kind. "Sweetheart, are you lost?" The girl shook her head. "I'm here for the interview," she said, her voice soft but sure. There was a pause. The room fell still for a moment, then a few chuckles fluttered around. One of the security guards leaned forward, lowering his voice. "Beta. This is a job interview. 4 grown-ups. Where's your mother or father?" The girl blinked, unmoving. Then she reached into her school bag, pulled out a slightly crumpled piece of paper, and held it up with both hands. Her grip trembled, but her eyes didn't waver. It was a formal job application. Neatly typed. Signed in perfect penmanship. "I filled this out myself," she said. Someone nearby recorded the moment on their phone. Another whispered, "She's just a child," but no one could bring themselves to laugh anymore. Within minutes, a wave of murmurs rippled through the office. The receptionist, unsure of what to do, picked up the phone and called upstairs. "Sir. You might want to come down. Well, you'll see." Director Asfandyar Khan was a man carved from decades of business wars, one of the most respected and sharp-minded figures in the industry. He had no patience for distractions, but curiosity got the better of him that morning. He rode the elevator down, expecting a PR stunt or an oddball joke. But when the doors opened and he saw her, tiny, soaked, and solemn, holding that wrinkled form with the signature line barely filled out in blue ink, he stopped. "I'm here for the job, sir," she said again, louder now. "Please." He stared at her for a long second, then nodded slowly. "Come with me." They walked together through the echoing marble halls. Every pair of eyes followed them. He led her into his office, the corner one with windows that saw the whole city, and handed her a towel. "Tell me, why are you here?" She sat on the edge of the leather chair, legs not even reaching the floor. Then, with remarkable calm, she began. "My name is Mehak. I'm 9 years old. My mother used to work as a cleaner, in this building. But 2 months ago, she got very sick. Something wrong with her lungs. She used to say, when you grow up, Mehak, don't just clean the rooms. Own them." Mehak smiled briefly. "She wanted me to dream big. To study, to work hard, and to someday have a job where she wouldn't have to scrub floors anymore." The director listened, something inside him slowly unraveling. But then, she couldn't breathe anymore. She tried to keep working, but she fainted. "She's at home now. I sell tissues on the road after school. I study at night. And I saw your job poster at the gate last week. I thought maybe, if I could get a job, any job, you'd pay me a little. I'd do anything. I can read, write, I'm good with numbers, and I don't cry easily." Her voice cracked on the last sentence, but she swallowed the tears. She wasn't here to beg. She was here to earn. The director's hand trembled slightly as he reached for his drawer. He opened a file, one that had been buried for years, and pulled out a picture. It was old, creased. A boy sitting on a charpai, barefoot, holding a toy car made from scrap plastic. "I was like you once," he said quietly. "People didn't believe in me either." Silence filled the room. Thick, weighty. "I used to think kindness made you weak," he continued. "That only profits mattered. That if someone can't survive the world on their own, they're not strong enough. But you've reminded me what real strength is." He stood up, walked over to her, and knelt to her level. "You don't need to work here, Mehak. You need to study. learn, grow. And one day, you will own rooms like this. Not because someone gave it to you, but because you never stopped earning it. That day, he called an emergency board meeting. Not to fire anyone or shift strategies, but to start a full education scholarship foundation in the name of Mehak's mother. He personally visited her small home, paid for her medical care, and ensured that Mehak had the best schooling, the best shoes, and the loudest cheerleaders behind her dreams. Years passed. And on a golden morning, 10 years later, a young woman stood outside the same building. Hair tied back, eyes focused, a degree in one hand and a laptop bag over her shoulder. She stepped into the office with confidence. The receptionist looked up and smiled. "Can I help you, miss?" Mehak smiled back. "Yes," she said. "I'm here for the interview." But this time, it wasn't for survival. It was for leadership. And upstairs, an old man, now retired, sitting peacefully in his garden, watched the clip on his phone again. The one of the little girl years ago, soaked in rain but unshaken in resolve. A tear escaped his eye, just like it had the first time. Because sometimes, the smallest knock on the door, becomes the loudest change in someone's life. And sometimes, it's a child, not a CEO, who teaches us what it means to truly lead.